Well, let's get into it. Let's get into it. Welcome back to another episode of Sports Talk. I am your host, Herman Gaines, aka T. And I want to talk about this D Wade statue situation, man. Normally when it comes to situations like this where a person is being honored, flowers are being given towards, a person's contribution. I don't really have much to say outside of, man, congrats. You did your thing there. D Wade was a part of one of the first teams to win a NBA championship in Miami. So, it was dope. Even before LeBron and what's his name, Chris Bosh got there, he was able to go ahead and, make that play happen with Shaq. It was a beautiful thing. But I just got to comment on the statue situation because for me, the statue definitely looks nothing like him. And on top of that, it is just crazy his response. I mean, it's a typical D Wade response. That being said, he's entitled to have his own opinion, but man, do not try to belittle the fans that have supported you all these years. And I admire this game, even though he wasn't my favorite player at all. But man, quit trying to talk down or make it seem as if people are flawed for saying that, hey man, they need to redo this. To me, the statue looks a little bit like Thanos, the villain from the Avengers, in the face. It looks like Thanos. Now, I understand where Wade is coming from to a degree. He's saying the statue overall is meant to capture a moment. Therefore, it doesn't have to look like me. You know, um, my response to that is going to simply be this, yo. If they can capture people that are white in this country and give them statues and monuments that resemble them, surely they can capture people of color as well in their glory. The Kobe Bryant statue, um, I it had some issues on the lower end, but it still resembled him enough to where people could say, okay, that's Kobe. You know, Shaq has a statue of him dunking, and you look and it resembles him. So there are sculptors that do it well. Hall of Fame, NFL Hall of Fame, uh, heads, the people that do the heads for those, they look like the players. There are so many artistic people in this country that for people to not get you or even get you in your even a close picture of you, right? Like something that even if it's not extremely detailed, it's detailed enough for people to say, okay, yeah, that's you. For them to not do that and hire people that don't do that, it's an embarrassment, man. It's an embarrassment. Allen Iverson statue, by all intents and purposes, was a smaller statue. So outside of that, there wasn't much to, I guess, complain about. But specifically, regardless of where you're at on the spectrum in the conversation of likeness, I just don't think Dwayne Wade's response was the most beneficial. If he would have just left it at, I think that, overall, the thing that matters is that it's capturing the moment, and that's what I'm happy about, et cetera, et cetera. And that's what I would hope people would enjoy. If he would have just left it there, cool. But for him to say something that's like, well, if I wanted to stand outside, if I wanted the statue to look like me, I would just stand outside and take photos and all this other stuff. And it's like, bro, okay, first of all, we know you ain't always gonna be here. Second of all, you're not really doing that because you're too big of a celebrity, and you would get mauled by your fans, especially out there in places like Miami. So like, don't try to talk down to the people who have supported you all these years, who looked out for you. See, the problem is that folks need to be held accountable. It's just like the statue out here of MLK in in Montgomery, I believe it is. It received a lot of flack because it looked nothing like him. And so what's happening is our leaders who were considered pillars in the community, who we held in great regard, are now being dishonored by statues that don't look like them. So I'm of the mind that they need to take the doggone statue down. If they can't find nobody who can at least do the best, because I'm trying to understand how you get the body right, how you get the detail of a man's jersey and suit and all this other stuff, and then you mess up when it comes to the face. The face just goes, just goes the show pretty much. Like, come on, man. You know, ain't that many stretch marks in his face. It is just ridiculous for people to even settle for something like that. I am surprised that Dwayne Wade would even settle for something like that after you've put your body on the line for this organization and played all these years. And I get it, some people, especially after they made so much money or whatever, they be acting, well, I'm just happy to have a statue. Well, man, look, it's awesome that you're happy to have a statue, but at least have enough respect for what it is that, really have enough respect for yourself and your contribution, as well as your fans, for them not to put up there some mess that looks nothing like you. Because if we let that thing stand, years will go by and people will say, well, that was a pretty terrible job. And I don't know, maybe he feel like he needs to save face for the people that did mess up, that felt like, well, this is the closest we could get, which I doubt. Ain't that many his face isn't that ruggy, man. I get it. Maybe people say, well, he was trying to capture the mustache, the beard, he was, come on, bro. Like, I understand trying to capture a moment. By the same token, we have so many aspects of technology. And my thing is, if we have one major professional sports organization that is able to capture the likeness of its athletes and its players, how the heck is the NBA not able to do that? How are they not able to do that? Just take the thing down and see. I'm of the mind to say take it down. Not even really off the likeness of of the statue not being him. It's because Wade, to me, even though he's trying to say that he's appreciative of the statue, I just don't think, based off of his response, he values his fan and how he responded. That's the thing. Because don't speak to the fans in a condescending manner, talking about, oh, you would just stand out there and take pictures of people if you wanted them to come to something that looked like you, as if you plan to sit yourself up there and look like Thanos in front of the arena. Like, you didn't plan that. That happened. That happened. And you was glad because they sitting here talking to you about it and you just going with it, and now you trying to, some people have aspirations of doing business with people long term as well. So they don't want to step on no toes. But at the end of the day, you got to learn as a man to stand on business, man, and just say, hey, we could do a little bit better here. Understand we got this and that, but I don't want this to come out like that. Because at the end of the day, while you did do something that was befitting of a statue, bringing the championship to the organization and things like that, people weren't really just checking for you to get no statue, man. Maybe your loyal fans, which this even makes it worse because your loyal fans know that that's not you. They know that that's not you. You got to think about it. Dwayne Wade got a statue before LeBron in Cleveland. And I get it. People say, well, LeBron's still alive. Wade's still alive. And I don't know if there's been a disbursement of money in the NBA or what, but a lot of people, especially after Kobe died, started getting statues. I understood why Kobe got his, and I know people got statues before Kobe and all that, but it was commendable. It was whatever. Like, it was good. Like, we were with it. But this right here, this right here, this ain't adding up. Like, okay, shortly after Kobe, we get AI who was a trendsetter for the NBA, but he didn't win a championship for the organization, which is fine. We still honor AI, and we're thankful for his contributions to the sport. But now we got Wade. Wade getting the stat. And I ain't got nothing against Wade getting one. But if you're not going to appreciate the fans enough and their opinions enough to say, hey, y'all need to correct this, because what I mean, worst case scenario, what you're gonna lose some business if they take it down? Like that's on them. The pressure's on them. Are they threatening you, saying that they're gonna pull out of a deal or something? If you don't back the atrocious, hideous look of this statue, come on, man, come on now. And he's always kind of been, for all intensive purposes, a thinker who's more liberal, right? Because he's not only his own man, but I mean, just look at the structure of his family and how he's chosen to go about that. So this is not the first controversial take that Dwayne Wade has said. So knowing that that's the energy that this is coming from, that's why I'm of the opinion that we just gonna go ahead and take the doggone thing down and not even worry about it. If I'm a fan, I'm saying just take it down then. Since he acting like he can't appreciate the fact that you know and I'm just saying this for all intents and purposes here, not because I'm just a super diehard E-Wade fan, but since you don't appreciate the fact that we are willing to call out, protest, and even criticize this photo, this statue of you, since you don't appreciate that it doesn't capture you in your likeness. Really, I wouldn't say it all because the body's fine. It's just the face. It doesn't capture your image, right? Your facial image in the slightest. If you don't value that, we as fans and honorable people who are willing to give you your flowers and all that. If you can't value that, man, we don't want you to have no statue. People like you shouldn't have a statue. I'm just being real because while you say in one side of your breath, oh yeah, man, it, it should be about the moment. Like, nah, dude, we need to remember the people who, if it's about the moment, that's even more reason why the statue should be remotely resembling you. So that way people can go back and see YouTube ain't always gonna be around. Yes, we've made technological advancements, but you know, when you're dead and gone, people need to come back and check in. And maybe it wouldn't have even been as bad if the statue wasn't that big. Yeah, I think that man got a huge behind statue compared to, I mean, his statue might even be bigger than Kobe's. It is so humongous and it is so visible how terrible the face looks. And instead of sitting here, not even because you could have really avoided disrespecting the thought processes of the fans because hey, we know you ain't gonna stand out there and take no pictures. Ain't no celebrity just gonna stand out there for hours on end and take pictures of people that walk. We understand that, so don't even try to imply that was the alternative because that in no at least this planet anyway. That's not a healthy alternative to an image having a sculpture, a statue that looks nothing like you. So let's not do that. You ever been to Washington D.C.? You ever seen those statues of people like Benjamin Franklin, George Washington? How is it that they are able to get those people in their image and likeness, and that it's not going viral? But Mr. D Wade just wants us to be cool with him looking like Thanos up there talking about just capture the moment. It's about the moment. Man, I can't focus on the moment because the moment is being overtaken by Thanos. I feel like he used them infinity rings to literally snap his fingers and put himself in the place of you. That was the wish. Instead of erasing other people from history, he instead of erasing these heroes and stuff, he decided to erase you. You've been erased, D Wade. Don't what don't you understand about that? And I get it. You all, it's the moment, it's the moment. And you don't want to step on nobody's toes, and you on this, almost LSD type trip. But you gotta come back to reality, man. You gotta start standing on things that make sense, respectfully. Because this ain't it. This ain't it here. But hey, I mean, it's your supposedly your statue. So if you're really happy with that, and you don't care that the fans aren't, the people that supported you aren't, but by all means, live your life, continue to do what you do. But if it was me, I would tell them with respect. I say, hey, look, I appreciate y'all getting the statue of me, but out of respect for not only myself but my fans, I think we need to make some adjustments here because it's not really resembling me. If they're saying, okay, that's the best we can do, da da da, I'm gonna say, all right, well, respectfully, if you could take it down or just make it smaller, I'll put in some money or whatnot to make sure, that we can go ahead and make this happen because I just don't want my legacy and the legacy of my fans to be hijacked or shipwrecked by how terrible this thing looks. It just does not look like me. And they're, oh, we do boo boo boo. Okay, well then take it down. Just take it down. Cause I'm not for it. Oh, you're acting like a spoiled brat. Nah, man. I just gotta be honest. Come on, man. George Washington been dead over 100 years, and we still know what he looked like. His image is all A1. Shout out to King out there, out there in DC. They got the awesome memorial for him. Big old memorial for Abraham Lincoln. On point. Oh yeah, it's on point. But that dude in Montgomery wasn't it for Dr. King. Oh no, no, he did not get him in the slightest. So take it down. Just take it down. But those are just my thoughts, man. I'm out.